A single fire ant can sting you, but a colony of them? They can kill animals, blind people, and even build living rafts made entirely from their own bodies. And the worst part? They're spreading fast. Some scientists say fire ants are becoming one of the most dangerous, invasive insects on Earth, because these tiny creatures don't just survive disasters. They weaponize them. 1. They don't bite. First, they hold you down. Most people think fire ants simply bite. That's not true. First, they grab onto your skin using their jaws. Then they rotate their bodies in a circle, stinging over and over again. One ant can sting multiple times in seconds. And unlike bees, they don't die after stinging you, which means an entire colony can attack continuously. Some victims describe the pain as burning acid injected into the skin. That's actually where the name fire ant comes from. But here's the creepy part. The pain isn't always the worst thing. Within hours, white pus-filled blisters begin forming. And if scratched, they can become infected badly. In extreme cases, people experience allergic shock. There have even been deaths caused by massive fire ant attacks. 2. They can detect electricity. This next fact sounds fake. But fire ants are strangely attracted to electricity. They often invade electrical boxes, air conditioners, traffic lights, and even computers. And scientists still don't fully understand why. Some experts believe electromagnetic fields confuse or attract them. In the United States alone, fire ants cause hundreds of millions of dollars in electrical damage every year. Imagine your internet suddenly dying, only to discover thousands of angry ants living inside the wiring. Even hospitals and airports have reported fire ant infestations, damaging critical systems. Tiny insects, huge chaos. Segment 3, they survive floods by turning into a monster raft. Now this is where fire ants become truly terrifying. When floods happen, most insects drown. Fire ants don't. Instead, thousands of ants lock their legs together and form a giant floating raft. A living raft. The queen stays protected in the center while worker ants form the outer layer. And somehow, they can float for weeks. Scientists discovered that the ants trap air bubbles between their bodies, making the entire colony waterproof. Even crazier, the raft constantly shifts positions, so no individual ant stays underwater too long. It's basically a living survival machine. After hurricanes in America, people have found floating fire ant colonies, drifting through neighborhoods, like nightmare islands. And if you accidentally touch one, the entire raft explodes into attack mode instantly. 4. Their colonies can have multiple queens. Normally, ant colonies have one queen. Fire ants said, why stop at one? Some super colonies contain multiple queens, producing massive numbers of eggs non-stop. This creates giant, expanding colonies that are almost impossible to destroy. And here's the scary part. Different colonies sometimes stop fighting each other. Instead, they cooperate. That means millions of ants can spread across huge areas like one giant empire. Scientists call some of these super colonies. One infestation can contain more ants than humans living in an entire city. And because they reproduce so quickly, a small, unnoticed colony can become a nightmare in just months. They can kill animals much bigger than them. You'd think animals could easily crush fire ants. Sometimes they do, but when thousands attack together, even large animals can lose. Fire ants have killed baby birds, reptiles, rabbits, and even newborn livestock. Some animals become trapped under swarms and die from stress, venom, or suffocation. There are recorded cases of deer and calves dying after massive attacks. And because fire ants target eyes, noses, and soft tissue, victims often can't escape quickly enough. Imagine collapsing into a hidden mound by accident, and within seconds, thousands of ants cover your body. That nightmare has happened to both animals and humans. And trust me, the last fire ant fact is the one scientists find the most disturbing, because it proves these insects may be smarter than we thought. So keep watching. 6. They farm other insects. Fire ants aren't just hunters. They're farmers. Some species protect aphids, tiny insects that produce a sweet liquid called honeydew. The ants guard them from predators, then milk them for food. Yes, they literally farm living insects. And if another insect attacks their aphid colony, fire ants respond like armed bodyguards. Scientists have observed ants carrying aphids to safer locations during danger. That means they don't just react instinctively. They manage resources. 7. Their mounds can hide thousands of ants. At first glance, a fire ant mound looks harmless. Just dirt. But underground, it's a massive hidden city. A single mound may contain over 200,000 ants, with tunnels, nurseries, food storage, and chambers for the queen. And some mounds go surprisingly deep underground. The scary part is how fast they respond. The moment the mound is disturbed, thousands of ants rush upward almost instantly. Some people step on a mound accidentally and don't even realize it, until their legs are suddenly covered in stinging ants. 8. They're invading the world. Fire ants originally came from South America. Now, they're invading multiple continents. They've spread into parts of North America, Asia, Australia, and beyond. And governments are spending billions trying to stop them. Why? Because fire ants damage ecosystems badly. They attack native insects, destroy habitats, and outcompete local species. Some areas even quarantine soil, plants, and farming equipment to prevent accidental spread. One queen hidden inside transported cargo can start an entirely new colony. That's how dangerous their expansion is. 9 fire ants can sense chemical warfare. Fire ants communicate mostly through chemicals, not sound, not vision, chemicals. They leave invisible scent trails telling other ants where to go, what to attack, and when danger appears. And once an ant releases an alarm pheromone, chaos begins. Thousands immediately swarm toward the target. Scientists say this chemical communication system is incredibly efficient, almost like a biological internet. 1 signal. Instant army response. 10. They can sacrifice themselves for the colony. This might be the creepiest fact yet. Fire ants will sacrifice themselves without hesitation. Worker ants exist mainly to protect the queen and colony. During floods, attacks, or battles, some ants literally become disposable shields. Scientists observed ants forming barriers using their own bodies. Others stay behind to fight predators while the colony escapes. Individually, they're tiny. Together, they behave almost like a single giant organism. That's what makes fire ants so terrifying. Not strength, not venom, coordination. Millions of minds acting as one. The most disturbing fire ant fact. Scientists discovered something shocking during experiments. Fire ants can build structures together, without any leader directing them. No boss ant, no commander. Yet somehow they create bridges, rafts, tunnels, and survival formations with insane efficiency. Each ant follows simple local rules, but combined together, the colony behaves almost intelligently. This phenomenon is called swarm intelligence, and researchers are now studying fire ants to improve robotics, artificial intelligence, and disaster rescue systems. Think about that. Tiny insects that sting painfully are helping humans design future technology. But it also raises a disturbing question. If creatures this small can organize with near-perfect coordination, what happens as their colonies continue spreading across the planet? Fire ants may look tiny, but together they become one of the most unstoppable forces in nature. And honestly, some of these facts sound more like science fiction than real life. So now I want to ask you, which fire ant fact surprised you the most? And would you ever touch one of those floating ant rafts? Comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying animal facts from around the world.